we're going to talk a little bit about inflation. Let's talk about inflation. So we know that our inflation rate is 8.9%. We know interest rates now on mortgages are up at 7% to try and curb inflation. And so the question I have is, how do we roll back inflation in Colorado as we face the highest inflation in the country?
Yeah, here in Colorado, nationally it's about 8%. Here in Colorado, 15.6%. The highest in the nation here in Colorado since Biden took office. It's a shame. It's a shame. It doesn't have to be that way. But Jared Polis has grown the size of government by almost 25% since he got into office. He's added 4,000 new full-time employees into the agencies that run our lives. He's added 85 new taxes and fees that we can count. I'm sure there's a lot more. He's made it harder and more expensive to live here, to raise a family, to run a business. In fact, he likes to tout that he's made the state more business friendly, more startup friendly as an entrepreneur. Well, that's a bunch of baloney. In this last quarter, 27% of small businesses, 27% more small businesses closed than the previous year. Businesses are being suffocated by regulations, red tape, taxes, fees. We've grown the size of government so that it's out of control. And you've heard me probably say, I want to do something big and bold. We're going to take Colorado to zero income tax over 8 years. And guys, in typical politicians' fashion, they're like, you can't do that. There's no way. We've got to refill the coffers. How are you going to refill all that money? I'm like, well, I'm not. Our state budget has doubled in the last decade. We are spending too much money in Colorado. I need to get that money back into the pockets of the people of Colorado. That's how you solve inflation. That's how you ramp up the economy. And it means changing maybe the way we do Tabor refunds so they're income tax deductions and they're permanent. It means changing fees to taxes. Imagine that. It means finding some fraud and waste in the budget. Do you think we can maybe find 5 or 10%? Yeah, so we're going to order a special audit in the first weeks of our administration to find that fraud and waste and get rid of it. It means getting rid of special tax exemptions. It means getting rid of Polish pork. It means reducing the size of bureaucracy in this state by 10% a year in our first term, 40%, because it is out of control under Jared Polis and the Democrats, and we're going to get it back skinny down to the right place, the right budget, and make sure also that we're honest with you guys, that we're transparent about where the money's being spent. That's why we did that press conference and put out a new transportation plan, because that 260 that passed a couple years ago that raised your taxes $5 billion over the next, 10 years or so, well, that actually doesn't have an end to it, is a boondoggle. Only 1/3 of that money goes to actually fixing the roads. The rest of it goes to pet projects of Jared Polis and the Democrats. So what we want to do is take that back to the people of Colorado with a very specific list of projects that we worked with transportation experts around the state to come up with. It'll sunset after 10 years. The taxes are already there. Jared Polis and the Democrats already passed them. So we're just going to take it back to the people of Colorado, and we might massage that little retail delivery fee out of there. That's ridiculous. And we're going to get your approval to fix the roads that you care about. When they say, but what about the ozone and the climate change? Well, congestion is one of the biggest offenders that affects our ozone. And finally, I'll stop this rant in just a second. Jared Polis did not submit the science to the EPA that all the other governors have done, because 70% of our ozone problem is not us. It's from out of state. It's natural sources. And now he's saying, I'm fighting the EPA to get that overturned. All he had to do was file the report. He's messing with us like he usually does. It's going to increase the cost of gas in Colorado starting late next year by 30 to 50 cents a gallon, that decision, because we have to use blended fuel just like California. So it's all smoke and mirrors with Jared Polis and the Democrats. I've had it. Danny's had it. The more we learn about how things operate as we're running, the more disgusted we are, and the more transparent and honest we're going to be with you as leaders in this state.
Well,
Sorry, I took up a bunch of time.
no, she gets fired up. I love it. I love it. I mean, this is what you're going to get from a governor. You know, someone who has your interests at heart, not her own. Someone that has the interests of the state at heart, not her own. this is the kind of fighter we need up at the Capitol. Someone who will stand for you, someone who will respect you. I said the other day that I don't think people care what they call, but people want to be respected. And when your voice is not heard, you feel disrespected. And that's what we need. We need your voices to be heard. So, no, you go on as long as you want to, Governor.
Well, Heidi,